The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad that you've tuned in, and for wherever you're tuning in, hey, Lionel Labor's Local 663, remind us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. My name is Guy Newcomb here. I'll be with you for the next few minutes. We'll visit with our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks High School Athletes of the Week. We'll run down the football scores from last night. We'll talk a little bit about the softball quarterfinals coming up. And then Alan Hilliard from Alan Hilliard Sports will join us to talk a little bit about the football district implications here as we go into the final week of the regular season in high school football. But first, on the football scoreboard from last night, brought to you by Bambino's Italian Cafe. Bambino's Italian Cafe at Lone Pine and East Battlefield, where we host the Quarterback Club every Monday at 11:30. Coaches begin speaking at noon. Come in, get you a great meal, hear from coaches, and a great time for fellowship. Just 2 remaining at the high school Quarterback Club, and the Springfield Area Tip-Off Club will begin on December the 2nd. First off, on the scoreboard, football scoreboard from last night, it was Ava over Willow Springs 54-8. New Madrid County defeats Portageville 28-27. Fort Zumwalt North over Timberland 42-6. Kirkwood defeats Hazelwood Central 58-0. It was University City over Jennings 12-8. And Pierce City defeats Stockton 22-14. St. Clair over Owensville 63-7. Van Far over Scotland County 28-10. And Washington defeats Howell Central 34-13. As we mentioned, coming up on the quarterfinals this weekend for fall softball in the Class 1 quarterfinals, you've got Norwood traveling to St. Elizabeth. That'll be Stanberry at Princeton. Northeast Cairo is at Paris. And La Plata is at Gallatin in Class 1 quarterfinal action. In Class 2 quarterfinal action, it'll be Chaffee at Ellsbury. Mid-Buchanan is at Carrollton. Lynn is at Hartville. Highland is at South Harrison. And in Class 3 state quarterfinals in softball, Saxony Lutheran is at Sullivan. Oak Grove is at Savannah. That'll be played in St. Joe. Winfield is at Centralia. Blair Oaks is at Nevada. And in Class 4 quarterfinals, it'll be Notre Dame, Cape Girardeau at Jorge Zoo Academy. Belton Westminster Christian will be at Incarnate Word. And Father Tolton will be at Bolivar. In Class 5 state quarterfinal, softball action will be Jackson at Lafayette Wildwood. Ray-Pec is at Liberty North. Francis Howe is at Helias. And Kickapoo will be at Rockbridge. All that taking place on Saturday. Winners of those quarterfinal games go to the semifinals at Killian Sports Complex in Springfield, Missouri. We're going to take a quick time out. We get back here. We will bring in Alan Hilliard from Alan Hilliard Sports, and we'll talk a little high school Week 9 football after these messages from the Missouri Sports Network.
I'll have the avocado toast minus the avocado.
So, toast.
Yeah. Everything is so expensive these days.
Hey, Chevy gets it. That's why they're keeping prices down to earth, like on the most affordable EV in America. A super strong and capable Chevy truck.
And a high-tech Chevy SUV.
Why is Chevy making affordable vehicles connected by OnStar? It's so together, we can do more.
We believe banking should make your life greater. It starts with affordable options to meet today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. From smart account options that fit your style to flexible loans for what comes next. It means convenient ways to access and manage your money whenever you need it and wherever you're headed. Most of all, it takes great support. Someone you can count on for trusted guidance and to be there for you every step of the way. Great options, great convenience, great support for life. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start?
Here, in the classroom.
On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Hey, welcome back to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, presented by Doak Propane. Doak Propane, for all your propane needs in Bolivar, Missouri, Polk County, and surrounding counties, call the folks at Doak. Also presented by Lyona Labor's Local 663, who remind us to drive safely in those work zones. Those folks want to go home to their families as well. And the Bank of Billings. Bank of Billings established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. We welcome in Alan Hilliard from Alan Hilliard Sports. Alan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great there. How are you doing today?
Doing awfully well. You've got a game tonight there between Waynesville and Lebanon. Tell us first off, this is maybe one of the oldest rivalries in the state of Missouri.
This is one that goes back to before football days, to the early Frisco League in the 1920s when they played basketball and many sports outdoors back in those days.
You know, this is week 9 here. It's the last regular season game before they pair up in districts. We'll take a look at a few, but anything kind of jump out at you? I know you're paying particular attention to that Waynesville district, and that could have some games tonight, could have some fluctuations there as part of who wins and loses.
Yes, the Tigers will be on the road either way, but they don't know where because Kickapoo and Ozark both play each other tonight. Both, I believe, are 3-5. So essentially, they will travel to the lower seed of that, which will be the 4-5 seed game, and then the 3 seed will travel to Joplin. So big implications in that district of who gets to play kind of the tougher first game, but then the winner of the 4-5 seed will, of course, go on to still see Nixa down the road.
We've got you're just looking through, a few districts right now. That Class 1 District 2, which Tipton right now is the 1 seed, probably not going to lose that spot. But that 2-3 right there is Salisbury and West Strand. Salisbury being number 2, West Strand number 3. They play each other tonight. So West Strand's got an opportunity there to jump Salisbury into that 2 spot. And if seeds hold, then they would host West Strand in that semifinal game of that district.
Yep, exactly. And then also you have Fayette and Russellville both playing too there. I'm not sure if Fayette's got enough to jump ahead either, but seems like most of those teams, several of those teams in that district are in fact playing each other, including several districts around them in Class 1. Because
moving on. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, because in District 3, for example, Marionville, which has a good chance of staying the number 1 seed there, they play Miller, which that still will affect Miller depending on the outcome. And then Class 1 District 4, Putnam County and Milan, also same district, both play 5-3. So again, quite a few of these matchups, because a lot of these towns are, close to each other, or they're very similar rivals in these classes.
Yeah, and going back to that Class 1 District 3 there where Marionville's the 1 seed, they're not going to lose that, I don't believe, even if they lose to Miller, which I highly doubt as well. But you've got a Pierce City team that's already won. They played last night. They won. They're just 19 points behind Windsor. If Windsor should happen to stumble tonight, and they play Crest Ridge, a Crest Ridge team that's 2-6, if they would happen to stumble there, Pierce City could move out of that 5 spot up to that 4 spot, which would give them a home game as well. And then you've got that Class 2 District 5, which is Lamar right now is number 1, but they're 5-3. And they're not even a full point ahead of Warsaw, who's 8-0. Now, Lamar plays Seneca tonight, and that's going to be a tough challenge for Lamar. I mean, I know it's Lamar, but Seneca is playing as well as anybody in the state in their class. If they would happen to get beat by Seneca and Warsaw wins tonight, then I think Warsaw could end up in that number one spot, which means Lamar would have to go to them in that district championship.
Exactly. Seneca has become one of those teams this year in Southwest Missouri that has really exceeded their expectations and really had some big upsets, and probably one of the top 10 teams in Southwest Missouri.
Yeah, when you talk about a Seneca team in that Class 3, their district there, I don't think they'll have much trouble getting out of that district. And in reality, in the Southwest Missouri area, from Nevada south and then maybe as far over as West Plains and south, I think Seneca probably has the best chance of winning a state title. I know Marionville is awfully good. They're the Class 1 defending state champs, but St. Vincent is also very good. Ash Grove took Marionville to task, a week ago in a 22-20 game. Nixa, it's Nixa, and they've been awfully good all year long, but they haven't proven it yet against the powers out of the Kansas City area or the St. Louis area. So I look for Seneca probably to maybe have the best odds here, and then maybe followed by a very good Fair Grove team who's undefeated.
Exactly there. And looking at Nixa, their competition in the COC, they've faced some good competition. The thing is, as you mentioned, they're going through Kansas City, so they're going to run into possibly Rockhurst if they get on a streak, or one of those Lee Summit teams up there, or there's a couple other teams that are pretty strong out of the Kansas City region before they can get to the St. Louis side of things.
Yeah, as you look at that Class 2 District 4 where Fair Grove is the 1 seed, and I don't think you can get them, even if they lose to Stratford tonight, they're not losing that 1 seed. But that 2-3 could be interesting because Thayer plays a very good Mountain Grove team who is Class 3, so they'll get the bonus points. But if they happen to lose, Ava has already won, and they're just 0.06 points behind Thayer. So if you add another loss to Thayer, and I want to say, and I know those teams had to have played. No, they won't fall behind Ava because they've already beaten them. So that's, even if the Ava would have more points, Thayer won the head-to-head. So that's not going to change there either, being out of that same conference there. And then you've got the Class 2 District 8 up in the Kansas City area where Brookfield's number 1, Mid Buchanan's 8-0 at number 2, East Buchanan's 7-1 at number 3, and Mid Buchanan and East Buchanan play tonight, and that's going to determine who the 2 and 3 are in that district.
Yep, exactly there. And one of the things with Thayer is their only loss this year was to Liberty Mountain View, but when you look at their district standings, right now they're above Mountain View by less than a point. So I'm just curious how these head-to-heads are going to match up once these points are settled with some of these matchups, because that's not the only matchup like that where we've had a couple, not necessarily upsets, but we've just had really good districts.
Well, and I'm curious to see how Misha handles if Thayer loses tonight and points-wise, Ava jumps Thayer, but then Liberty stays right where they are. Does Liberty jump Thayer first, or does Thayer jump Ava? Because if, I don't know if they start from the bottom and go up or from the top and go down. So that'll be interesting to see if points-wise, if Thayer ends up in 3rd, Ava in 2nd, and Liberty Mountain View in 4th.
Exactly. I'm not sure if they go by points first and then do the head-to-head after, or if it's head-to-head consideration if the points are close on that.
Well, then you've got a very spread-out district in the Class 3, District 5, which the furthest team to the west is Mount Vernon. The teams in that are St. James, Cuba, Salem, Mountain Grove, Buffalo, and Stratford, and those are all teams to the west of Highway 60 and or 65, and even further than that. When you talk about St. James and Cuba, that's getting down into your neck of the woods there around Waynesville.
Yep, the St. James Tigers are about 30, 35, 40 minutes down the road. Depends on how the construction's going this time of year. But They a well improved program over the last few years down here, but just the spread of that district is one of the bigger ranges and area. And looking like Stratford has a good chance of staying number 1 in that, though. I don't see them falling. Mountain Vernon has a good chance, I think, but then Mountain Grove and Cuba, I think most of that district is set there. The bottom 2, depending on where they go. But that's another one of those tough districts where 8-0 and 6-2 should be a good championship game if it works out that way.
Then moving up into Class 4, that District 6, where you'll find Bolivar, Carl Junction, and West Plains. West Plains is the 1 seed right now. Carl Junction is the 2 seed right now, but they play each other tonight. And the winner of that game is going to be the 1 seed. The loser of that game could drop to number 3, because if West Plains is defeated by Carl Junction, they would drop to number 2, and Bolivar beat West Plains earlier this season, and that would put Bolivar into the 2 seed.
Exactly there, and that's a big matchup for Rogersville specifically, because they could potentially jump themselves up also in that with a victory over Bolivar. But Bolivar's been one of those teams that they've been very explosive throughout the year, and they've had some pretty quality wins coming out of their program.
Yeah, they've got wins over Harrisonville in overtime, 28-27. Handled Marshfield fairly easily down the stretch. Beat West Plains also. They lost obviously last week to a good Carl Junction team, and a Parkview team. That was kind of their surprise loss on the season, I guess, was Parkview, because they had a 3-touchdown lead in the third quarter and ended up falling in that game.
Yep. And the biggest matchup in that district is the top 2 seeds. They're playing each other to determine who's the top seed in that district.
And that's happened. That's going to happen in other districts throughout the state too.
And being 5-3, you don't have that big gap difference of 2-game advantage. That second place team, the second place team, they may not be second place. They may be 3rd or 4th, like you mentioned, after the points come out.
And then maybe the biggest matchup of the night is in that Class 6, District 6, which is Lee Summit North taking on Lee Summit. They're 1-2 in that district, both state ranked. In fact, I believe Lee Summit North is 3rd in the state behind CBC, and then obviously Nixa, and then it's Lee Summit North, and Lee Summit is in the top 10. And you've got a Rockhurst team who's lost 3 in a row, and that's unheard of at Rockhurst, but they're at the 3 seed, then Lee Summit West, and then Ray-Pec, who is really struggling at 0-8. But you'll get the winner of tonight's game between Lee Summit North and Lee Summit will get a bye in week 10.
Yeah. And just looking at the schedule, for example, Lee Summit North, they're undefeated while Lee Summit 7-1. So that should be a very good rivalry game also, because both in the same school district. If I remember the coach mentioning, they were maybe 5-6 minutes apart from each other.
Yeah, you could walk to the schools, and Lee Summit's only loss is to Blue Springs South this year. They beat Liberty North 39-33. Liberty North is a defending Class 6 state champion. Defeated Lee Summit West 45-10, Ray-Pec 42-0, and last week they got Staley 63-28. But their last 3 games, combined records of those teams is 2-22. So this will be a real challenge for them facing a Lee Summit North team who's 8-0.
Yeah, Lee Summit North, maybe the team out of Kansas City that maybe them or Nixa would represent the western side of the state, would be my guess on that one.
Yep, and it's just going to matter. I think Nixa will get there. I think whoever wins tonight between Lee Summit and Lee Summit North, I think will get there. The situation is going to be where's that game going to be played? if that's top of the bracket. I mean, if Nixa can play at home, then they've got a shot. They've got a great home atmosphere. They got a great facility. It'll be packed. If they can play that game at home, I think I would think they would get a shot at a victory there.
Yeah, and then looking at. Oh, go ahead there.
No, I was just going to say we've got all that football action coming up tonight. I want to make sure that everyone tunes into the Friday Night Live tonight. Alan may be back with us again tonight on Friday Night Live. We'll cover all the scores from around the state, including games last night. We'll run through Saturday's schedule. We'll visit with coaches. We've already got coaches lined up from Ava and Pierce City to join us. We've also reached out to Kirkwood head coach Jeremy Macklin to see if he might be a part of the show tonight. And hey, do us a favor. Go to the Missouri Sports Network at Facebook and like us on Facebook, and go to Missouri Sports Network on YouTube and subscribe. And then you'll know every time any of these shows come out live. Alan, what have you got to do tonight?
Well, I've got Waynesville at Lebanon tonight, as we mentioned earlier there. That's the big rivalry game, really last rivalry game that Waynesville and Lebanon have against each other, football-wise anyway. And it should be a packed house. That'll be on Alan Hilliard Sports on YouTube, about 6:30 probably for the pregame.
Very good. Very good. Well, hey, again, everybody out there listening, watching, whatever you're doing, hey, shoot us a note. Sign up and follow us on Twitter at Scoreboard Guy or at Missouri_sports or at Alan Hilliard Sports, and you'll be the smartest fan in the stands. You're watching you're watching High School Game Day on the Missouri Sports Network. Coming up here just a few after commercial break, we'll have our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athletes of the Week. Gabe Fields from Central out of St. Joseph High School had 474 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns. Yes, you heard that correct. 474 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns, both school records for the Indians. And also, Ash Grove Pirates golfer Riley Allred, who has won her second consecutive state championship, and she's just a sophomore. So her freshman year and her sophomore year won state championships. Keep it right here. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol remind us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart.
When you drive a Chevy, it's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. And find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
And welcome back to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Time for our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week segment. We go to Ash Grove High School, and we welcome in the head golf coach, Grant Williamson, and our Athlete of the Week, Riley Allred. Coach Williamson, thanks for helping set this up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
And, Coach, first off, let's put a little bow on the season from a coach's standpoint. Obviously, back-to-back state championships. Tell us about where Riley kind of improved this year and what it was like down the stretch for her.
I think the biggest thing I noticed with Riley from last year to this year was her consistency throughout really all of her rounds. I think last year she had some ups and downs. The downs were not very bad, but this year I felt like she was very consistent. I think only had one round in the 80s. Is that right, Riley?
Yes.
Whereas last year there were a few more. So just that consistency throughout the season was the biggest improvement, I thought.
Well, Riley, first off, on behalf of Chevrolet and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, congratulations on being an Athlete of the Week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And this is becoming a yearly thing. As I looked at my feed, it popped up today, and almost exactly a year ago to the date, you were an Athlete of the Week. You'd won the state championship last year. First off, tell us a little bit about the differences between last year and this year. Obviously, going last year, this year maybe a little bit more comfortable. You were on a different course. Coach talked about the consistency that you developed throughout the season. But compare last year's run to this year's run.
I think last year I hadn't played in a state tournament before, so I was a little bit more nervous compared to this year. So I just think like I was more prepared for the state tournament than I was last year.
Okay, you take a 5-stroke lead going into day 2. Tell us about day 2. You shot a 71 on day 1, I believe, and then you get out there on day 2 and it's really windy.
Yes.
Looking at the scores, tell us a little bit about day 2.
I think the wind did play a big factor in it for like everybody, and it was a little bit harder for me because like I just feel like I couldn't play with the wind. The wind makes it really bit harder. So,
How do you kind of prepare for that? Are you throwing grass up on the tee box to see which way it's going? Are you getting information from coach? How do you prepare for dealing with that wind?
Sometimes my hair kind of just like flows in that direction, so I kind of already know which way it goes. And sometimes I will throw the grass. It just kind of depends.
What do you feel like? And Coach talked about how you've gotten better this year. What do you think's been maybe the most improved part of your game from last year to this year, whether it be on the green, whether it be around the green, whether it be on the tee box?
I think probably off of the tee box. I think my driver has just been a lot more consistent than last year, like hitting more fairways and, just off the tee box.
Coach Williamson, is that something you would agree with, having watched her from last year to this year?
Yeah, 100%. I felt like she definitely was able to keep the ball in play off the tee a lot more, and because of that, I think she eliminated a lot of the big scores, made very few double bogeys or worse this season. I think you can attribute a lot of that to being in play off the tee.
So, Riley, what do you do during the year? First off, are you a member anywhere? And where do you play golf?
I'm a member at Green Hills and Willard, and I'm also a member at Silo Ridge and Bolivar.
Silo Ridge, one of our sponsors. I'm a member there as well. Really enjoy playing that golf course. But throughout the season, what golf courses really challenged you? What are some golf courses where that you felt like, I'm not sure I want to play that one again?
I think probably the one in Clever. I can't remember the name, but I think that one was probably the hard one for me, just because like I've played it like 2 or 3 times before, and all the other ones I've played a lot more, so I was more comfortable with them than the one down at Clever.
What's your favorite golf course to play on?
I'd say probably Silo Ridge, just because it's really nice, and I just like it.
What's your best round up there, or up here? I guess I should say.
I think a 78.
Oh, I've shot a 78 once on the front nine, but I'm still kind of learning. I'm a novice, so to speak. But Riley, as you come into this season, did you have goals? Was getting back to the state championship or state playoffs, was that a goal of yours?
Yes, definitely getting back into state was definitely a goal. And one of the goals was definitely to keep my rounds under 80, just because like the year before that I had multiple in the 80s. So the goal was just to keep it in the mid 70s.
Now there's a rumor that you also play volleyball.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us, how did you handle that? How did you prepare mentally and physically for both of those sports?
Well, I kind of just went to volleyball, half of it, and then left to go practice golf. And some days I would just go golf and not play volleyball.
All right. Very good. Do you play any other sports?
I do not.
You're not. So your season's over now.
Yep.
Yeah. Now you're just a sophomore. So what are you doing the remainder of this year to prepare for your 2 sports? Are you still out playing? It's nice enough weather now. You can go out and play still.
Yeah. So during the winter and the spring, I'm normally just practicing for golf. but I do play club during the winter, so club volleyball. So I kind of just do both of those, and then during the spring, I practice for golf for the upcoming season.
Very good. Very good. Well, Coach, tell us a little bit about your experience this year with the team. Now, is she the only member of the team?
Yeah, she was our only girl for the last 2 years. So definitely a little bit unique. And with, like she mentioned, her playing volleyball too is not your typical practice every day after school and go to events. So it's a little different. She does a fantastic job of just doing things on her own. So that definitely makes it a lot easier. And, I just show up. I just show up and watch her play golf, and she does a good job of it. So
now, how old is the women's golf program there at Ash Grove?
Yeah, this is just our second year. So we added it last year, knowing Riley was coming in, and was going to have an opportunity to have some success, and we wanted to make sure that she had that opportunity. But we do have a few more girls that I think are in junior high right now that hopefully have expressed some interest in playing golf, and hopefully in the next year or two we've got enough to put a team out there at tournaments. So,
Riley, are you helping recruit kids to play?
I'm trying. I've talked to some people and they seem interested in playing. So,
what got you involved? How long have you been playing? And I say that because you're 15, 16 years old. But when did you start, and what got you involved, or who got you involved?
So I started playing when I was 9 years old, and my dad came back from one of his work trips, and he had played golf there, and he just took me with him, and I've played ever since then. So,
what's your favorite club in your bag?
I don't know. It kind of just depends on the day. If some days I'll hit a club good, and then the next day I won't. So, really just kind of depends on if I'm hitting it good or not.
Very good. Well, Riley, once again, on behalf of Chevrolet and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, congratulations on being an Athlete of the Week.
Thank you.
And I have one more question. I'm a mandated reporter for the Highway Patrol, and do you always wear your seatbelt?
Yes, I do.
Very good, very good. Because I would have had to call that in. But congratulations, and Coach. I would guess that you're probably gearing up for basketball season right now.
Yeah. Yep. Coming up here in a couple weeks. So looking forward to that. Hoping our football team keeps winning games, and we don't have those guys for a while. So.
Yeah. Well, they've got an opportunity. They played, Marysville to a 2-point game the other night. They're in that same district, so they may meet them again.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been following along, but I appreciate you guys coming on. And again, congratulations. And we look forward to seeing what Riley does next year. So on October the 25th of next year, just go ahead and put it on your calendar, Riley, because it's going to be a yearly thing.
Okay.
All right. We have a rule here on the Missouri Sports Network that in order for you to become an official friend of the show, you have to come on 3 times. Once you hit that 3rd time, so next time you become a friend of the show. All right.
All right.
All right. Again, congratulations, Coach. Thanks so much for setting this up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Hey, you're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.
In the heart of Springfield on historic Walnut Street, just blocks away from the Missouri State campus, Hammons Field, Great Southern Arena, and downtown Springfield. The Walnut Street Inn features newly remodeled rooms, breakfast served daily, and a friendly, accommodating staff. The Walnut Street Inn is also a great venue for private events. Book your stay or get more information at walnutstreetinn.com or call 417-864-6346.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 290,000 participants here in Missouri who take part in high school sports or activities.
When you drive a Chevy, it's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. And find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Hey, welcome back to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, Lyono Labor's Local 663 remind us, hey, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Visiting now with the Central St. Joseph Indians head football coach, Sheldon Farrell. Coach Farrell, thanks for your time today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
4-4 on the season, Coach, in a tough district, a tough conference. Tell us a little bit about the Indians and how the season's gone up to this point.
Yeah, we've kind of been on a roller coaster. If you look at our schedule, we've had some big wins. We've had some blowout losses, but our goal every week is just to get better. You look at the scores. It looks like we kind of got handed to us, but in each one of those losses, it's about a 5-minute game time situation or whatever, where so to speak, we kind of lose our way, and we're just trying to correct that and kind of peak at the right time. And last week was a great start, and looking to play Parkos out this week was a tough, hard fighting team, and we're ready for the battle.
Coach, just a little bit about your background. How long have you been at St. Joe Central, and where'd you go to high school, college, and how'd you end up there?
Yeah, so I actually graduated from St. Joe Central in 2009. I played quarterback here, played basketball, ended up transferring around a little bit to play college, and finished at Baker University. And then from Baker, I taught and coached for 5 years in the state of Kansas, a couple of years at Bonner Springs, and then a couple of years at Leavenworth. And then my goal was always to come back to Central. I've always wanted to take over, the football program and kind of give back to, what I experienced when I was in high school. And the opportunity opened up about 6 years ago to come back as an offensive coordinator under Coach Trotter. And then from there, I was just prepping myself to take over as head coach. And I got that. I was lucky enough to get that opportunity. I guess I was named in January, the head coach. But that was kind of always my plan, and, I think what we were working for.
Coach, we got one regular season game. You guys have got Park Hill South. Two-part question. Number one, what do you feel like you guys are doing really well right now? And maybe on the other end of that, what do you feel like you need to shore up here as you go into the postseason?
I think our skill guys, they just keep making plays, whether that's offense or defense. Like we'll get some picks on defense. So we get big runs, big throws and catches. And one thing that I keep challenging our guys is the upfront guys. We control the line of scrimmage. In games that we've won, we've done that. And just trying to be more consistent there is probably our main goal. I mean, like probably most high school coaches or really any football coach will tell you, if you control the line of scrimmage, you're going to have a really good chance at the end of it. And that's just what we're trying to do. We want to be in that situation at the end to come out on top. That's our goal.
We've got a young man sitting beside you there. This is the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week, presented by the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Tell us a little bit about Gabe Fields and what makes him so special.
So Gabe Fields, senior, he's played in some big games for us in 4 years. He's a 3-year captain. So to me, that speaks volume on what his teammates think of him, because that is a voted on thing that we do. He is the school's drug-free superstar. He's going to Vanderbilt. He's committed to Vanderbilt. And through that whole process, one thing that I always kind of bragged about to coaches when I talked to him is, as good as he is in football, he's 100 times better as a human. He's one of those kids that will do everything you want him to do, whether it's come early and work out, whether it's, lead a team, rally a team. I have 2 sons, and my oldest son looks up to him like a superhero. And he's talked about it all the time at my house. And so anytime, little kids are becoming obsessed with a high school kid, I think that's a good thing. So.
All right. Well, Gabe, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Gabe, I'm a mandated reporter for the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Do you always wear your seatbelt?
Always.
Very good.
Always.
Very good. Well, Gabe, tell us a little bit about your background. How long have you been playing running back? When did you start playing? And what kind of kept you in the game? What about the game of football really excites you?
So I've been playing football since, I'd say, kindergarten, flag football, then first grade. I think it was my first year playing tackle football. So for about 12 years, I started off through Bantam League in elementary. I played a lot of positions: running back, receiver, quarterback, safety, linebacker, just a lot of things. And then once I got to high school, my first thing I came out as was a quarterback. So I came out wearing the red jersey. And then about a day or two after that, I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. So I switched to running back, and I realized, okay, this could be where I thrive at. And the game of football, to me, is just a way of helping my family out and putting us in a better predicament than what we are now, and create generation wealth.
Outstanding. Well, tell us, going back to that game with Excelsior Springs here on Friday night, did you have any idea the number of yards that you were mounting up?
So what's funny is we were talking at the lunch table before the game, and one of my friends were giving me crap. They're like, Gabe, you always have one game that you have a big game in, and I haven't seen it yet. So I was like, all right. So before the game I was like, I got to break this record. I want it bad. So going through the game, I get to halftime. I didn't realize how many I actually had. I had like 300 at half, and I didn't realize that. So I was just like, all right, I got to keep going. And I ended up with 400 and something. So, yeah, I was surprised, but it was fun.
Well, it was reported to me 474 yards.
Yeah.
With 8 touchdowns, which are both school records there. Have you been introduced to the whoever record it is that you broke? Do you know who that is?
Yes, sir. Actually, that night, my basketball coach FaceTimed him, and I got to talk to him, so it's pretty fun. I talked to him my sophomore year. Well, I didn't talk to him. I heard about him from my sophomore year because I got close my sophomore year. I had like 337 with 6 touchdowns. So this year I got to break it, and I got to beat him, so that was pretty fun.
Outstanding. Well, Gabe, let's just imagine for a second you could go back and get in a time machine and go back to that 7th or 8th grader Gabe Fields and give him some advice based on what you know now. What advice would you go back and give yourself at that time?
I'd say my biggest thing is physically. Start prepping your body for high school, because you're going to take a lot of hits, and the stronger, the faster you are, the better and easier everything's going to be for you with whatever is going on in high school during any sport, actually. So just prep your body sooner than later.
And Coach, mention the fact that you've committed to Vanderbilt. Tell us what went into that decision. Why Vanderbilt? Have you got to visit? What made you make that decision?
So the running back coach up there, actually, I've known him for about 4 years. He was at New Mexico State originally, but then got moved to Vanderbilt. So I'd say a biggest piece is him knowing I have somebody there for me that knows my predicament, because he also went to Central as well. So just knowing what's going on here, and he knows like the type of kid I am and just where I come from. And obviously the SEC football out there and the academics, it's the best of both worlds. So why not go?
Outstanding. what, and coaches talked about that leadership quality that you have, going back your 3 years as a captain. Where does that come from? Is that something you get from parents or from home or a relative or maybe a coach that you had when you were younger? Where does that leadership ability come from?
I would say being brought up, just always being told, don't be like everybody else, because everybody's not always going to be there for you when you're down and bad and like bad times. So try to be different and don't be like everybody else.
Yeah. Had a coach one time tell me the definition of a good leader is anyone who's doing anything worth following. And that stuck with me for a long time. But Gabe, first off, again, on behalf of Chevrolet and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, congratulations for being named the Athlete of the Week.
Thank you.
You bet. Coach, so what have you got between now and Friday? What are you guys doing to get prepared?
You got practice later today. We've kind of made practices this year a little bit more physical. So, traditionally, probably as the week goes on, some teams take pads off. We've kind of gone away from your traditional walkthrough on Thursday. So we're a shell practice, like tops and helmets. We kind of continue to get after it because we don't want that lull to take place during the week. And just any opportunity we can, we try to steal reps. So, today we'll have a full pad practice. Tomorrow we'll go through a shells practice. And then on Friday, we kind of we'll have a pregame meal. It's a good time. The kids, get to be together and hang out before the game. We'll have a chapel speaker to come in and kind of put some more wisdom into their brains. That's not just the coaches all the time. And then from there, we'll kick off and, with senior night, and it's always a fun night.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, I greatly appreciate you helping get this set up today. And again, Gabe, congratulations on behalf of Chevrolet and the Missouri State Highway Patrol.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're watching the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage here on high school game day. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol remind us, hey, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.